What's happening, everyone? My partner's Ian's keeping it real. What's happening, everyone? I got the homie Drew Evo from the Shoe Shine is here, man. And damn, dude, we just saw one hell of a fight. And so Drew and I thought, well, let's get on, dude, and let's talk about this one. Drew, what's happening, baby?
Nothing much, man. Saw a terrific fight. I thought it was a good fight while it lasted. You know, it was a good knockout win. First 154-pound undisputed champion. Let's get to talking.
Dude, let's get to talking, man. JC's in the house, man. He says, come on, bro. Like, well, I don't know what you were hoping for, JC. We saw one hell of a fight. I don't know if you were hoping for Castano. El Chido Boxeo's in the house. You know what I'm saying? Welcome, brother. If you want to hop on, I'll drop a little link. You know what I'm saying? Take a look, George. If you want to hop on, George. My compadre's in the house. So, Drew, I guess Charlo surprised you a little bit in this one, right?
It was a good fight, man. It was a really good fight. It was bombs. Tell you the truth, the way they were going, somebody was going to give in.
Dude, the pace was just out of control, brother. Like I was watching it, and I feel like things kind of slowed down, starting like in the sixth, maybe. But dude, the combinations back and forth was just amazing, bro. I mean, where do you want to start, bro? You want to tell me what rounds, like where you had it, like up until that last moment, or?
Well, here's the thing. I had an 86-85 for Charlo at the time of the stoppage.
Mm-hmm.
I had like 2 swing rounds on my card, but I really thought this was a really close round fight at the time of the stoppage. Like you had Steve Farwell giving Charlo the first 3 rounds, then give him the last 3. My card was totally different.
Well, dude, I thought Charlo did pretty good work early, so I gave Charlo rounds. Although, keep in mind, dude, I thought a lot of these rounds were competitive. You know what I'm saying? And I was a little drunk, okay? And with big fights, I really don't like scoring them live. So I kind of had a pen and paper, but I wasn't like, clinically watching it like I do with their rescores, But I gave Charlo rounds 1, 3, 4, and 7. You know what I mean? So it was a close fight. Castano had the rest, you know what I mean? So, could have been anybody's fight, but I felt like the momentum was kind of going to Charlo a little bit, even though Castano was doing better later on, but I felt like there was a fade. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it looks here like JC agrees that Castano was slowing down after 7. Yeah, man. Like, I think they were both taking a break. Charlo was like, all right, cool. Let's take that break. All right. Classic Keys in the house. He says, yes, sir. Big Drevo. Yep, that's it. That's him. The one and only. Got him right here, man, giving us his take, man, I don't know. I feel like you were narrating things so beautifully about what Bivol did against Canelo, but with this one, I feel like you're not, I don't know, man. Like, where's the inspiration that you have, man? I mean, what's going on, Drew?
This was a really good fight while it lasted. It was a really close fight while it lasted. Like, this was more of a, if you look at it, when I was watching this fight, I was talking with my boys in the Discord and everything, in my boys' Discord, and the thing about it is, when Charlo was on the ropes most of the time, man, Charlo was clinching instead of using his footwork. And I was saying, Charlo doesn't trust his footwork against Castano for some reason. He's not trusting his footwork. And the shit about it is, man, that's what's happening. And I think it was round round 5, he got that footwork going a little bit, but then he went right back to it. That, he didn't trust the footwork. Every time he got to that thing, he clinched. Like when Castano had him in that one position a couple of times in a clinch, Castano should have used that advantage and put his weight on him. You want to clinch? Put the weight on.
The clinch, man. Oh, what's up, George? How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. What's going on?
Dude,
What's
that
up,
was
Drew?
one hell of a fight.
Crazy fight. What's going on, Drew?
What's going on, George?
Hey, I'm right here, man.
We were just talking about the rounds, man. Like, when we're just about to get into it, Drew's talking about this clinching and off the back foot. Here's what I got to say real quick, man. Like, I don't know where this idea came from that Jermell can't can't fight off the back foot. Like, I thought he could. I thought it was Jermall that couldn't. I always thought Jermell was a bit of the mover. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Overall, I think Jermell is the better fighter than Jermall.
Absolutely.
And I think he takes more of the risk than his brother does. His twin brother could learn a lot from his little trim level because this guy's fought some competition. Jamal hasn't.
What's up,
Absolutely.
A-Rod?
What's going on, man?
What's happening, brother?
What's
You know, George and Drew, man, we're just kicking it, man. One
What's
hell of a
up,
fight,
Chilo?
huh?
What's going on, man?
What's going on, guys?
Once
Yeah, Drew,
again-
I agree. Oh, go ahead, Chilo. You got the floor.
So, once again, Charlo comes back and shows us that he could come back from fucking a loss. He totally on both fights he fought the wrong fight. You know what I mean, he tried to go toe to toe with Castano in the first fight, and he lost. You know what I mean, this time he boxed around. He had a lot more head movement, body work. You know what I mean? He threw in all the whole goods, bro. He fought the great fight.
Yeah,
Dude,
he
it
absolutely
was.
did.
It was a
man.
good fight, you know, and I was surprised to see him try to tie up a little bit. And, you know, Castano was really strong early and, you know, not allowing him to tie up. But, dude, I mean, the combinations back and forth between each other was just amazing. On top of that, too, man, like, I felt like Jermell was very composed in the pocket. Like, he was slipping shots and countering with just some, like, I don't know. I felt like it was like the more effective telling blows sometimes. Like, he was definitely holding his own in the pocket, you know?
Yeah, he was, man, because you can see, you know, whose shots were hurting more, and it was obviously Charlo's, especially that early left hook exchange. You know, when they kind of stared at each other. I think it was like after either like the third or fourth round, and you could just tell whose shots were hurting more, and it was just a matter of time for me. You know, that Charlo was going to land that one shot and end it. You know, we did a prediction the other day. I did one yesterday as well. I said late stoppage. I said 11. I mean, shit, I'll take 10. I was very impressed. Just like Drew said, out of the Charlo brothers. I mean, not that I wasn't a fan, but like it just made me more of a fan, man. This is what you want to see from a fighter, right? You want to see him in a tough fight like this. You want to see him face adversity. He did everything. He checked all the boxes, crossed all the T's, dot all the I's. I'm impressed with it, man. I mean, you can add my name to that list. You know, as a Mel fan, I'm with it.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, like you have to earn fans like that, dude. He went in there, he was repping the US flag. He went in there and he showed grit too. You know what I mean? Like I think a fighter can win rounds on the back foot, and I think Jermell showed you like how you win rounds on the back foot. You know, very impressive. The combinations were excellent. The body work was good. He had a good jab. He had a good hook. His counters, his uppercuts, like Jermell was just bringing it, man. He took advantage too of the lulls. You know, he was real smart. You know, he'd buy himself time, and then boom, engage. Or if Castano was ready to come in, Jermell was prepared for it, you know. And there was a point at which, like, I don't know, man, you could tell those punches were really starting to affect Castano a little bit. Like, I forget which round, but it's almost like Charlo almost won that round based on that he's kind of like stunned Castano, and Castano had to take a break. I don't know which round you guys know what I'm talking about.
I like how he wasn't letting them work off the ropes. You know what I mean? As soon as Castano tried to get him off the ropes, Charlo fought him off. You know what I mean? Like backed up or moved to the side. He was in the first fight. He was just let him offload on him on the ropes. He wouldn't even answer back or try to move out of the way. This time he moved out of the way. He tied up or he fucking swung right back.
Definitely, man. And, you know, Castano, like, you know, I guess he just did what everybody expected him to do, right? And it's a matter of, like, whether it was going to work, right? I mean, everybody's like, Castano just needs to be Castano. Come forward. He was eating some punches to get in on the inside, dude. He was eating some punches.
Yeah, that's true. That's what an aggressive fighter does. You know, you're going to take a couple shots coming in. You're going to take one to land your two. And, you know, his shots weren't as powerful as Charlo, so they weren't really there really wasn't like too much of a, how could I say, like making an effect on Charlo. But, you know, the Charlo was feeling them, but obviously the one out of the two that was feeling the most was Castano.
Fuck, man. That was one hell of a fight. And I wasn't even stoned, and I was fucking way into that one, dude. Really good fight. Like, I mean, does this put Charlo up pound for pound for you guys? Like, what do you think, man? Like, I mean, I'm impressed. Yeah, dude.
Top 5. He got Undisputed, bro, and he showed his grit.
Dude, and he had a good activity rate too, brother. He was active. You know what I'm saying? Kept busy. Really impressive. You know, like, let's see here. Dude, Shoe Shine's here. He says he won $1 million on his bet tonight. Shoe Shine canceled indefinitely. Man, dude, all kinds of changes going on the network. You see this, Drew?
Well, Drew's a free agent.
Drew is a free agent. Dave, if you want to jump on and give us your hot take, man, let me drop the link. So, anybody else want to tell me what they saw or any comments that they just want to share?
I just gotta say one thing, man. How about my fucking boy Boots Ennis?
Yeah.
You know, when he fights somebody I've heard of, then we
Philly,
can talk about him a
stand
little
the
more.
fuck up tonight.
Hey, you know what? I'm impressed with what I see, but you know, it's like that though with people that when they fight somebody you never heard of. It's hard for me to personally assess things like that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But that's just me.
When
Yeah,
nobody wants to fight you. My bad.
Yeah, Maestro said it best earlier in a tweet. Boots definitely passed the eye test, and I agree. He did what he was supposed to against an opponent like that. Of course, he looked very impressive. So, I mean, I'm riding high on him until we'll see what happens when he faces someone, of course, that we know of. But I mean, he passes the eye test. He does everything great.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, George,
Yeah.
I don't know if I asked you already, and A-Rod too, but like I'm just curious, like how'd you have this fight scored like towards the end? Like what were you thinking in the lead up, like to the knockout?
Castano definitely had the middle rounds, and then right around the 7th round, I was thinking maybe he was just going to take those rounds off to have an explosive end of the fight, but I feel like those body shots and those punches were starting to take an effect on him. So definitely Charlo had the first two. I didn't write them down, but I'm going off the top of my head. Like Charlo had the first two, Castano maybe had 3, 4. Then 5 was a swing round. Then 6, 7. 6 was definitely Castano, and then from there, like Charlo just did what he did best. I probably had Castano with 3 rounds.
Yeah, I hear you there. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, but I thought a lot of those rounds were competitive, though. You know what I'm saying? Even if
Absolutely.
yeah, dude, they were just so good. And I remember thinking too, like, fuck, I wish I was a little more sober because I could maybe scored it more accurately. But the exchanges there were out of control. A-Rod, how'd you have it before the knockout, bro?
I was watching different videos and different lives, and everybody was going back and forth. I mean, people had it for Castano, people had it for Jamel. I mean, I had it for Castano. It was up on one round.
Well, I'm glad Jamel's going to get his credit, man. You know what I'm saying? So what do you guys think, man? Should he stick around? Or, like, I don't know what he said in the post-fight interview, but, I mean, should he stick around or should he go up to 160?
I mean, hey, I would like to see Fundora get a chance. I mean, I'm not saying Fundora's going to win, but his style makes it a nightmare, man. He's long. He could take a shot. He could dish a shot, but I'm not picking Fundora to win, but it would, just to see what kind of test that Fundora could be to Mel. If not, then, move up.
Whoever wins that 147 Undisputed is a good fight to make at 154.
Absolutely.
Dude, that's a great point. I was kind of thinking of like that log jam with Spence and the Charlos, right? And I was sitting there thinking to myself, well, I think that Spence has to move up after this fight. You know what I mean? Naturally. So it's like if he moves up, it could be one of those things where Spence moves up to 54, Jermell moves up to 60, and then Jamal kind of makes his way up to 68 finally. Because I mean, Jermell could reign, but I mean, I feel like there's bigger fights that he could get, big time fights. On top of that, too, like he could possibly find his way towards a Canelo fight before Jamal. Like if he goes up to 160, snags a belt, well, then you've done about as much as Jamal has done. I mean, you went undisputed, you collected all 4 belts, and you're still a 2-division champ, and you won 1 belt just like Jamal has, right? In 160. So I mean, he could leapfrog Jamal, and on top of that, too, dude, I think Jermell thinks he can win this fight, or at least he's willing to take the chance. I've heard him talk shit, and I believe him. You know what I'm saying?
I give him more of a chance than his brother.
Like I look at it like this: there's not really much more at 154 for Jamil, except for a Fundora fight. But I look at it like this: if Terrence Crawford or Spence move up to 154, then that's an opportunity. But he's not going to have an opportunity a big time opportunity at 160 because of the stable he's in. Like he's going to get the fight selection that his brother has, and probably the best fight he's going to get is probably Sergey Govatinko, and that's probably going to be a fight that's on that agenda. If he moves up to 160, I don't think he's going to get a Jaime Mejia fight with Jamal. You're not getting a Jaime Mejia fight with Jamil. It's just not really much more good fights for him left, unless he stays at 150, maybe 154. Like Fundora, we don't want to see a Tony Harrison third fight because we already know. I said he got robbed in the first fight. He knocked him out in like the second round in the second fight. Isn't really hard for Jamil to try to have fights there.
You know what, A-Rod, we have a little bit of feedback, brother, on yours. There's some background noise, brother. So whenever you're not speaking, if you could just mute for me, that'd be great. Dude, all I got to say is, dude, Drew, I'm also one of those guys, dude, who believes that Jermell won that first fight. I got to go back and rescore it, but I don't know, man. I thought Jermell won that first fight. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
Damn.
I don't know. I just see like I don't see many more big fights for Jamil at this time. Like, unless it's cross promotion, I just don't see it.
I want to give a shout out to the homie, Sean Gringo Hicks. Sean, I know you got to be
Sean.
enjoying this one, man.
Oh, he was.
For sure, bro. For sure. I mean, he's a Texas dude. You know what I'm saying? He plays it low key, man. But, you can tell he's celebrating now. You know what I'm saying? And I would be too, dude. Jermel's
Yeah.
the goods, dude. He's absolutely the goods. He's got one hell of a chin. He has grit, which I think is an underrated factor in boxing these days that people don't talk enough about.
Absolutely.
You could still counterpunch. You could still be on the back foot, man. But if you have that grit, man, it counts for a whole hell of a lot, bro.
Yeah. Hey, you said it too, Drew. I didn't even think about that one. The Munguia fight. That one needs to be made.
Dude, that would be a good ass fight. Shit, bro.
Here's the problem with Mejia, and it's always been a problem. He reminds me. It reminds me of this like it's a bad situation because when he's a mandatory for almost 2 years to Demetrius Andre, and when the guy even called you out to fight him, and you still don't fight him, you take a fight with Gabe Rosado instead. A guy, hey, he's from Philly. I can't hate on him, but he has 14 losses. When you are a mandatory for Charlo, and the fight doesn't get made, what the hell is the point? Like, what are you in this for? You want to chase a big money fight with Triple G because you think he's easy. I think Triple G beats Jaime Mejia.
Yep.
Hey, when Jamal was like 24, dude, he was fighting like 6 and 8 rounders against tomato cans who were like 40 years old, brother.
I think it's the La Hoya all over again, just like he had no fights for fucking Canelo.
Yeah, did you see that comment?
Back, bro.
Which comment?
He said he said that Eddie Hearn made a mistake by throwing Canelo in there Bivol. If it was him, he wouldn't have let that fight happen. Michael Benson tweeted it earlier today.
Well, see, it's protecting him. Now Oscar's now admitting that he protected Canelo in some fights.
Yep.
It's because everybody thinks that now, but beating a Charlo or Benavidez doesn't give you as much credit as in if you would have beat Bivol. You know what I mean? You would have been up in a fucking bigger weight class, so he took a chance. You get what I'm saying? I like that move that he made because these guys haven't fought nobody, so that's really not going to give me too much credit. But if I beat Bivol, then that will. But a loss is really I was too small for that division anyway. So
let me break this down in simple terms to everybody. Bivol beats Benavidez and Charlo easy. Andre beats Charlo easy. And beats Benavidez.
Drew, you love Andre, huh, Drew? Hey, I like him too, man.
Here's the thing. I think the guy, he's avoided. And people stop saying, oh, he hasn't fought nobody. Because he's been avoided. Charlo ducked him. Benavidez trying to price himself out on purpose. I need $7 to $10 million to fight that dude. Dude, come the fuck on now, dude. You out your damn mind? You haven't fought nobody. Your best fight is Anthony Duell.
Bro, I know you're trying to be objective, but I personally don't see what you see with Andrade. I don't think he's all that great. I've never thought he was all that great, and I think he's only continuing to look worse. He can't perform that style that he has for longer than 4 rounds before he's just gassed because he can't move around like that, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
I agree that he's been avoided because he's been calling out everybody and nobody wants to try to fight him.
Yeah, I did tell you this too, right, Chicano? I said that Andre at the end of it might be one of those disappointing careers that, he never got to have that chance to fight anybody. So like, it's almost like his career is kind of is like a waste right now. What's going on?
Dude, maybe Jermel will fight him at 160. Maybe that's the perfect fight,
Maybe.
Eddie Hearn has really dropped the ball with Andre. You could have included him on this 3-fight deal instead of potentially adding somebody like a John Ryder to this freaking 3-fight deal. Nobody wants to see that fight. I don't want to see that fight. Who the hell is John Ryder to a lot of these people? Like,
that's European money, man.
Who cares about European money? I'm talking about if it's a free fight deal, it's a free good fight deal.
It's a fight that Canelo wants to get on the other side of the pond. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
he
right.
wants to get a fan base
He
out
wants
there.
a cherry pick on that. That's a cherry pick. That's the definition of a cherry
Hey,
pick.
you know what?
I want to build a fan base out there. I want to go to the UK and John Ryder wants to fight him. He'll go out there.
I think Ryder, he's got a pretty impressive resume. Some people think, and I try not to say this in the lead up, but some people think he beat Callum Smith. You know what I'm saying? Like,
He didn't beat Daniel Jacobs. That's for damn sure.
I don't know. I thought so. I thought it was
gifted.
close.
That was a gifted decision.
It was
Bro,
a close one.
Okay, check this out. Just to show you I'm not biased. I had money on Jacobs, and I didn't think that was a robbery. I thought you could give it to Ryder. That's what I thought. And I had money on Jacobs on that one.
I even think John Ryder beat Billy Joe Saunders. I think if not, it was a really close fight. I think
that
that's
was a
another
good
name
fight.
you could throw out there.
Yeah, I saw that one too. I thought that one was really good, and nobody was talking about that fight either.
The Billy Joe
call,
Sanders
George.
fight should have been in the UK.
It is what it is, But like, I think if Ryder's like this third fight of a year, well, the whole thing's been thrown off anyways. We don't know what the hell Canelo's going to do in December, if he even fights in December.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't want to see a goddamn Triple G fight again because it's no use seeing that BS again.
Why not?
And because he got robbed twice already. He's 40 years old now. He's
Drew, that's debatable. First off,
Drew, wants it is fight this on ESPN.
Drew, you're coming over here, talking about how you're the authority on what happened in all these fights, who got robbed, who didn't get robbed. You know what I'm saying? Trying to come here, tell me Canelo got gift decisions against Triple G. Is that what I just heard?
He lost both those fights.
Come on, Drew.
The second fight was closer, but he lost both those fights.
Well, we're gonna do the controversial rescore, and we're gonna take a look at that first fight. I'm not scared to take a look at that first fight.
Chicano's gonna be in his Canelo gear while he does it.
Okay, check this out. That reminds me. There's a whole another thing, and George is my witness. Okay, George is my witness. I've been wanting to change my thumbnail or whatever that is for a long time, but now I feel like I can't because people will be like, "Oh, Chicano's changed his thumbnail because Canelo lost." But I've been saying for a while I want to change it. I'm looking for it. George, I've said that, right?
Yeah, you did. Hey, every
that.
time we go off a broadcast, we'll chat for like 10, 15 minutes. You mentioned it a few times. Yes, I am. I got you back. I got your back on that.
Thank you. Because people are gonna be like, "Oh, look at that guy with the Canelo Aztec painting. He changed it up. This and this. And here's the other thing about that. I want to go back a little bit, okay? On Twitter, now I'm understanding what happened because everyone was saying like, "Oh, Canelo fans, they've abandoned Canelo. They're jumping ship," and I didn't understand why, but they felt that way because we weren't really crying. We weren't really saying much. So they were trying to they thought we were just abandoning him. So that's what they meant, right? And then they started making up that we were like sore losers, making shit up that they heard.
I just got one thing to say.
They're saying that we're abandoning shit because we're not being biased, that we're not trying to back him up. You know what I mean? We're saying the truth. Hey, he lost the fucking fight. He needed his meat. Why did he go vegan?
Right.
Here's the thing.
We're not being biased, so that's why they're abandoning shit. Look at him.
Here's my thing, man. Has anybody seen my tweet earlier about Bivol? I just want to say something. Eddie Hearn, Las Vegas. Bivol don't give free boxing lessons. Pay the fucking man already.
Hey, you know what? Hey, Drew's one of the only people. Well, not only people. Okay, check this out. Everybody has their rounds for Canelo Bivol, right? But there's a small segment of people, and I just throwing it out there, just like Drew over here, who gave Canelo round 6. Okay, and Drew, you think that's a clear Canelo round? We've spoken about this, right?
Yeah, I thought it was a clear Canelo round.
See, now I got to go back and take a look, So, if I give Canelo the rounds I gave him and then I give him round 6 for, on Drew's behalf, that makes it a 7-5 fight. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying,
Wow.
Bivol still won, but I mean, a lot of people disagree on those first 5 rounds. And then if you
scored at 9-3.
No, Bivol still won, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I need to look at the whole thing again.
Feel about Bivol wanting to go down to 168?
He said he might not be able to make 168.
Did you guys see? I don't know how true it is, but I seen somebody post this on YouTube that Bivol said he still hasn't been paid. I don't know how true that is. I don't know. Wow.
He hasn't. That's why I put the tweet on there.
That was yours.
There's been a couple of complaints that Eddie Hearn takes a while.
Well, here's the thing. They're saying he hasn't gotten paid because he's rushing for the sanctionings.
Oh, man.
Because of that. And I don't think you should take it out on the athletes.
That's not fair. Yeah.
That's bullshit.
He won the money over here. What the fuck?
The other day, he came here to fight him. he won the fight. You say you're gonna pay him $5 million, and you don't get free boxing lessons. Pay the goddamn man already.
Yeah, that's why Manny Pacquiao got screwed over in taxes, right? Because he was winning the money over here, but not paying his taxes over here.
Oh man, yeah.
But Manny Pacquiao is a dumbass for not doing that.
Sean, you know, by the way, I listened to your reactions, you know. I've been isolating myself from outside information, but I listened to, you know, the Long Live Boxing Crew, man, you know. I thought it was a great episode, by the way. You know what I mean? And then Run PMC here says that's messed up. He shouldn't have been allowed to fight if you were going to hold up his pay. I agree with that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but Bivol, you know, all his stuff's getting delayed, you know, but he's got all that good stuff coming to him, man. He's got the biggest legacy win he could possibly ask for. You know what I mean? And
a lot more money if he gets a rematch.
Oh yeah. Okay, dude, check this out, brother. And then A-Rod, when you're not talking, bro, if you can mute just because there's a lot of background, if you don't mind, brother. But I want you to stick around if you're free. Okay, check this out. Now, since we're talking about Canelo, I just want to throw this out there. Here's an article. I don't know if you guys have seen. I haven't shared it. It's late night talk with my homies, so I'm going to bring this up.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Nacho Berenstein says that the Canelo Bivol fight was fixed. I want to know if you guys have seen this article.
Nope.
So he says this, right? He says that weird things happen, right? And he says this. He said the fight was really weird. He goes, he was throwing curving punches that he usually doesn't throw. He has more quality than what was seen, the veteran trainer said. He goes, he was throwing a lot of flared punches to the arms, to the opponent's gloves. That's why I said that it was a very strange fight, said the trainer, right? And he goes, and then he says this, and this is what he ends with. He goes, he asked if he thinks Bivol was surprised with the performance of Canelo, right? And he goes, you know, if one, and then he goes, no, he goes, to me, I get the impression that someone fixed that fight for him. And he goes, boxing at that level is a business. A lot of people in the middle don't really realize what's going on in a real fight. And that's how he ended the interview.
I just got
That's
one
crazy.
question. I just got one question. How old is this Nacho guy?
He's like, man, he's forgotten more boxing. He's senile. He's forgotten more boxing than you'll ever know.
He looks like the Crypt Keeper.
He has been one of the biggest criticizing people for Canelo.
Oh, you know what, man? I think this dude's in the early stages of Alzheimer's.
He was Marquez's trainer, right?
Yeah,
This guy was all over Canelo for a long time. He said, "Nah, he hasn't done enough."
Yeah.
Top this, but that is what I got to say about Canelo. Canelo has been fighting the same style for the past 4 fights. He's throwing the same punches, same combinations, not throwing a bunch of combinations. I mean, he's just going to the arm, he's going to the body, and these guys, Bill caught onto it. You know what I mean? So he's going to go for my arm, and he's going to go for the body. He kept on, whenever Canelo would fucking go for the hook for the body, all he would do is this, boom. He'll be blocking.
Exactly. He fell in love with his power.
Bill Wolf fucking was smart enough him and the trainer were smart enough to see that this guy is throwing the same shit for the past fucking 3 fights.
So you think Nacho was just hating?
Yeah.
Whatever website posted that article, delete it.
Hey, I'm just presenting what
Fake news.
Honestly, I'm surprised that more people aren't talking about it, because the haters would love it if Canelo fans came out and said like, "Oh, the fight was fixed." You know what I mean? In fact, you know, I heard some birdies tell me that, like, you know, because I made a joke, you know, that one last Saturday after the fight, I was kind of joking around that maybe the fight was fixed, maybe it was a robbery, and you know, certain people were like, you know, they were talking about it, and I was surprised, you know, and because I was just messing around, but I thought I don't want that kind of attention, you know what I mean? So I took it down, but. Sean says, don't do it, Nacho. Well, he went there. Fake news. So, George, you don't think there's anything to what Nacho had to say then either? You think it's just hating or senility?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he's just being Nacho. He's always got something to say about Canelo. So he just feels like he had to throw his 2 cents in there.
You know what? I'm glad Chicano, you're really taking this well, man. I was able to cheer you up, man. I was able to get you to take that you on suicide watch bullshit off and everything, man. Because at the end of the day, man, it's not the end of the world. You got to box a lesson, but it's not.
Nah, bro. You know what? Like, I don't know if I'm just getting too old, but like a loss, just like I was surprised at how much I wasn't affected. Like, I thought I'd be a little more like sad, you know, but I don't know, bro. Like, one, I was kind of like not expecting it, but I thought it would be a difficult fight, and I thought, well, if Canelo does lose, it's gonna be one of those ugly fights. And Canelo's not going to be beat up, right? So it's just going to be one of those types of fights. And sure enough, that's what it was. You know what I mean? It was just one of those fights where he got beat, but it's not like he got beat down. You know what I'm saying?
It's not Canelo style, but I wanted him to trade off with him, and I think it would have been a little bit more respectable fight if he would have got taken out, going out on the shield.
That's what I said, A-Rod. Like, listen,
like a true Mexican, you know what I mean? But
Bro,
that's never been a style.
That's never. What about the second
He
fight?
He was always like a counter puncher. He wasn't like a let's go toe to toe. You know what I mean?
Sure, but I mean, he wasn't even really counter punching in this fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was bizarre, dude. The whole thing. And where was Canelo's like? Okay, he's got kind of a good overhand right, but where was his straight right? You know, I didn't see it though. He has a decent straight right. Like his arsenal is just very limited. Like I think he got a little too used to things. You know,
the Bull didn't let him tee off. You know what I mean? The Bull, as soon as Canelo come in and throw a couple punches, the Bull fucking swing right back at him. You know what I mean? And back him up. So he was hesitant. He was hesitant to throw anything at the same time because the Bull wasn't scared to fucking throw back.
Look at Ryan over here saying Canelo did the Mikey Garcia fist bump method at the end of the fight. I wish he would have gone down going for the win. Hey, you know what? It's true. You know what? In Run PMC, like I said, I since took down the last video for no particular reason, right?
Yeah, I don't know why, because I look damn good in that last video, dude.
True. Hey, man, you're right. But you know what? Like, nah, man. Like he should have went out on his. He should have went on his front foot. He was having success on the front foot, and that's a change that can be made. But my thing is like, why don't you do it in the middle of a fight that you've already won rounds in? You know what I'm saying? Like. To change it up, like I don't like that fight in a rematch in general. But no, dude, he should have. Like he should have fought Mexican style on his front foot. He should have taken some shots to land shots. Bivol was landing like 3-4 punch combos. Like Canelo should be able to counter at least fast enough to get 1 or 2 in there. You know what I'm saying? If Bivol can throw 3-4, Canelo's fast enough to at least land 1 or 2, or at least throw them. You know what I'm saying?
Try to catch him in between the shots. You know, that's what I thought he would have done.
That fucking what is it called? What was that fucking Nicaraguan that we used to fight back in the days? The one that
Mayorga?
Mayorga used to do that. She would be getting punched and all of a sudden, wow, fucking catch her ass and fucking back you right back.
You know
up.
what?
You know what I mean? That type of style.
I have to agree with Oscar, you know, because Oscar said if Canelo fight Bivol 10 times, he loses Bivol 10 times. I don't really agree with Oscar that much because as a promoter, he's a fucking idiot. But as a fighter, he's a damn good fighter. But at the end of the day, Oscar hit me up. I'm trying to get an autographed glove by Bernard Hopkins, by the way. But at the end of the day, even if the fight's at 168, he ain't beating Bivol. It's just facts. He loses his belts to Bivol. And what the hell is Canelo now after that?
Hey, man, when you're right, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just glad this fight happened tonight, the Jermel Castano fight, because, dude, people, you know, I'll tell you, man, usually like the news cycle changes on Wednesday, but people have been talking about Canelo up until fucking, I mean, we're talking about Canelo right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, dude.
I want to see it just to see if Canelo could fucking take it to a different level. If he could have come up from that just like he did with that Triple G, where he was on the back foot, and then all of a sudden on the second fight, all right, then you want to go toe to toe, let's do it. You know what I mean? So if he has a rematch and he fucking changes his game and he's able to fucking overcome that, fuck much respect. At least make it a closer fight. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, you know, Jermel showed more grit than Canelo did. I'll tell you that. You know what I'm saying? Jermel was taking the heat, man. He was rolling and then answering back. You know, that's what they need to be doing, brother. You know what I mean?
Trade off. Don't just fucking let him punch your ass out or try to fucking duck around them. You're just getting yourself tired even more. And you got gassed out quick.
Hey, so A-Rod, what do you want Jermel to do? Do you want him to stay at 54? You want him to go up to 160 or what?
Like you guys were talking about earlier, bro, there's not much he could do at 160 right now. The fucking whole division's on freeze. They're all waiting on Canelo to see what he's doing, if he's going to give him an offer, if he's going to come down to 160 to fight him, or he's going to expect him to go up to 168. The only fight he got there is Munguia to make money off. But if he stays at 154, gets a mandatory and then waits for Spence and Crawford, because he's already talking shit to Crawford, saying that, all right, then you're too small for me. You want to come up and get your ass whooped? Let's do it. So they're already promoting that fight.
Dude, I was looking at Castano in the middle of this fight, right? And thinking to myself, like, could Crawford beat Castano? Like, what do you guys think?
That fight is intriguing now. It just makes it a little more intriguing, I think.
Yeah, dude. You know, while watching the fight, I remember thinking to myself, like, I don't think Crawford could beat Castano. I think that it would be too much, you know, based on what I was seeing, you know. And I think Jermell is just naturally a little more powerful than Crawford, maybe. I don't know, man. You know what I mean?
He's a bigger guy.
He's a bigger dude. He's like, what is he? 5'11"? He's like 5'11", right? And Jamal's 6 foot, something like that. Like he's up there. You know, Crawford's only like 5'8", like so they'd be of a similar height and reach. You know what I mean? And Castano just keeps coming forward. You know, and like Crawford hasn't had a fight like on the back foot in a long time. You know what I mean? Not like that. You know, I don't know if Crawford could keep up that pace with enough mustard landing back. You know what I'm saying?
The thing that Crawford has, he's a sharpshooter. I mean, he has that fucking where he could just pause, going on the back foot and pause and catch her as. I mean, he did that to Cal Brook. He caught fucking Porter. So this, just that sharp shooting that he has, he might have a shot at fucking beating him.
Hey, Gringo, tell us what you want, dude, from Jermell, man. Give us a quick little blurb, man. I'd love to know what you think he should do. You know what I'm saying? Dave from the 408 here says that he does like Crawford moving up to face Charlo. What a challenge. Well, that would be great. You know, Spence was being interviewed and he made it sound like, you know, the Crawford-Spence negotiations were actually going pretty well. And they should, man. You know, he didn't say this, okay, but okay, so we're doing a rescore of George Foreman versus Shannon Briggs, right? And I found this really cool old school telecast where Lennox Lewis is being interviewed right before the fight. And he's discussing how he wants to make a fight with Holyfield, right? And he's sitting there telling Jim Lampley, he says, listen, like, you know, I've instructed my people to make the fight happen. He's like, I'm in charge of my people. I tell them what to do. They work for me. I told them to make the fight happen. He goes, I hope the situation is the same for Holyfield because I know he wants this fight. So he needs to tell his people to make the fight happen. You know, and I mean, that's so refreshing to me. I feel like with Spence and with the Charlos, with respect to Gringo, who's in the chat, like they don't talk like that. They don't talk like I'm in charge. You know, I'm telling my people what to do. It's kind of like they go, oh, you know, I wish and hope, you know, we'll see. I don't like that kind of talk. You know, they should be like, hey, man, like, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of weird to me that like these guys can't call their shots a little bit more, especially when they're fucking in their mid-30s already. Fucking get it going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it should be, man. It should be that way. But we know at the end of the day, it's the cliche thing to say. Boxing is a business. You have a manager, you have your promoter. They're the ones that are your mouthpiece. You're just out there. You're just the face. That's it. That's the way it seems.
That's what it's like these days, brother. You're right. Well, anybody got any final thoughts before maybe we wrap this one up, man? It was fun kicking it with you, homies. I'm drinking wine tonight. I'm in the industry, you know, so I'm drinking some Pinot Noir. You know, usually it looks a little lighter than this. I'm one full bottle in. What are you drinking? You drinking anything?
No.
Anybody? I'm the only one drinking, and I work tomorrow too. Ain't that some shit?
You're an old man right now.
I know. A-Rod, are you drinking, brother?
No drinks tonight.
All right, maybe I'm the only one drinking.
I got fucked up last weekend.
If Nopal was here, he'd be like 3-4 drinks in, man. All right, bros. Well, dude, it was great talking to you. Drew, you got anything else to add before we close out, brother?
Yeah, it's your pleasure for having me on here, first of all.
It is, man.
The pleasure is all yours.
It says here, Sean says that Jermell needs to face his WBC mandatory in Fundura. That's what I want. I don't want Charlo to drop his belts after just going undisputed. Hey, man.
That's what I said.
Oh, yeah, you like my kitty cat?
He's
That's
about
Luna,
to leave the window.
You know? Yeah, she's smelling the fresh air. We're chilling.
He's about to say, fuck this shit, I'm out.
You know, I'm cool with that, you know, but I think that whatever Jermell does, like, you know, we can, you know, wish and want, you know, and I think we all have our preferences, but I'll be happy for him either way, man. I'm super pumped that he made it to undisputed, you know, very rare in general. If he doesn't want to pay those sanctioning fees and he wants to drop some belts, like to me, I think the lineal title is established at 154. If he wants to reign there, that's a challenge. If he moves up, and he could probably get the Canelo fight within like 2 fights. All he's got to do is go up, fight like an Andrade, or get a belt, you know, because Triple G, when he moves up to fight Canelo, those belts will drop, right? I mean, and I don't think he can hold on to him. You know, like I don't know, man. I feel like if he's undisputed, I don't know. I don't know who knows about this sanctioning body shit, but doesn't he have like the opportunity to kind of like just go up and fight the champ if he's undisputed? Like it's in certain sanctioning bodies, like
With the
don't they have,
WBC usually has like that
if you're the champ,
leniency. Yeah.
you can move up, fight the champ at that division. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. So they should fucking make it happen, man. Like I think there's some good options.
The one that Andrade has, they do that too.
Yeah. Well, see, there you go, man. You know what I mean? And like I said, I think Spence is moving up afterwards, and even Crawford. You know, so I've heard some people call it like, you know, the people who like the Charlos and Spence, they call it the seismic shift when these guys all kind of move up at the same time. You know what I mean? And I like that term.
What about
shift.
you guys think Derek James gets the trainer of the year?
Hey, man.
He deserves it at least.
At least mentioned in it. I think so.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And Sean here agrees. He's good with whatever too, man. He said that it would spice things up at 160 for sure. Jermell always spices things up, man. I like how like that guy starts raging. You know, undisputed gets to become the mandatory, just like Usyk. We'll see. There you go, brother. All right.
That's what I used to tell you before. Remember that was my favorite Charlo because I grew up with twins, and the crazier one was always my favorite. You know what I mean?
Was he the younger twin?
On my case, it was an older, but on this one, he's a younger. But those fools are hotheads, and that's the fools that you don't want to mess with.
All right, man. Well, yeah, I appreciate you guys jumping on, man. It was a fun time talking about this great fight, dude. I had a good time. So, Drew Evo, thank you. George, thanks for coming by. A-Rod, it's always good talking with you, brother. So, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.